Chapter 13. The Grand Design's Final Piece. The spiritual wound Yuji had inflicted upon Kenjaku was a game-changer, but it wasn't a fatal blow. The ancient sorcerer reeled, his consciousness momentarily fragmented, but he quickly reasserted control. He no longer viewed Yuji as a simple tool, but as a genuine personal threat, a variable he had not accounted for. The battlefield, once a stage for his performance, was now a true test of his genius. "You have seen what you shouldn't have seen," Kenjaku said, his voice now a low hiss of cold fury. "The final piece of my design, the ultimate act of cursed energy manipulation." The sorcerers had used their brief window of opportunity to fall back, regroup, and process the fragment of knowledge Yuji had pulled from Kenjaku's mind. They now understood the true nature of the fusion. It was not a physical transformation, but a spiritual one. The accumulated cursed energy of the Culling Game was not a weapon, it was a ritual. Its purpose was to bypass a final, unseen barrier that separated humanity from a higher state of existence. A celestial failsafe left by ancient sorcerers to prevent the world's self-destruction. The fusion was Kenjaku's way of tearing down that final wall. He was a god, a mad architect who wanted to create a new, cursed species. And the final catalyst, the very key to his plan, was the soul of Tengen. The revelation was a gut punch. Tengen, the immortal sorcerer who had long been the unassailable foundation of Jujutsu High, was the final piece of the puzzle. Kenjaku had not intended to use him as a simple power source, but as a spiritual anchor, a being whose boundless existence would stabilize the world-ending ritual. The new mission was clear. They had to reach Tengen before Kenjaku did. The race to Tengen's hidden chamber was a desperate, two-front war. Kenjaku, knowing their plan, threw every cursed spirit at them, every trick and technique he had copied over centuries. The sorcerers fought with a renewed sense of purpose, their exhaustion fueled by the terrifying knowledge of what was at stake. Maki was the vanguard, her perfected heavenly restriction a blur of motion, her cursed blade a silent death to the hordes of curses. Hakari, in a state of perpetual jackpot, became a one-man army, a regenerating force of nature that held the line against waves of monstrous spirits. Yuta and Higuruma worked in tandem, one using a copied version of Cleave and Dismantle to cut down their foes, the other using his domain expansion to trap and nullify the more powerful curses. Yuji, however, was the linchpin. His soul-manipulating punches were now a direct counter to Kenjaku's core abilities. He could not only damage the cursed spirits, but also destabilize their spiritual cores, rendering them easier to exercise. He was the one who kept the path clear, his hands a constant, pulsating source of soul-shattering black flashes. They fought their way to the very heart of Jujutsu High's inner sanctum. The air grew thick with a sense of ancient power, and at the center of the chamber sat Tengen, a being of pure, spiritual energy, his form indistinct and ethereal. "You are too late." Kenjaku's voice boomed from all around them, his presence a formless, oppressive weight. "The ritual has already begun. I am a part of Tengen now, a parasite in the body of a god. I will merge with his being and tear down the final wall." The sorcerers saw it then. Kenjaku was not a physical entity in the room, but a spiritual one, a part of Tengen's cursed energy, a cancer growing in the very foundation of their world. He was a piece of his grand design's final puzzle, and he was already in place. The chapter ends with the horrifying realization that their fight was not against a single person, but against an idea, a concept of power and reality that was already a step ahead of them. They had defeated Sukuna, but they had not defeated Kenjaku. The battle for the fate of humanity was no longer a physical one. It was a spiritual, philosophical conflict, and the final stage was set inside the mind of a god. The final battle was not about strength, but about an impossible choice. How do you defeat a foe who has become a part of the very world you are trying to save?